Thanks for tuning into D2 Wrench Works and DIY, guys. Today's video, I have a Nishiki Maricopa, and this begs the question, just how good is a big box bike? This is actually like a run-of-the-mill bike at a bike shop. It has 8-speed Claris, so you know it's pretty good mid-range stuff. A normal 6061 aluminum frame. Total as the bike is right now, which is in more than stock form. This is something you need to look out for these bikes. A cabling nightmare. Typically at Dick's Sporting Goods, they don't pay their mechanics any decent wages. You probably just get like $10 an hour or something. And I'll take a picture here, but if you see, I have the brake barrels like super far out, and the cables are already crazy far out because the bike, I probably rode about 8 miles or so. It's kind of terrifying to brake as it is. One of the big issues you run into is these cheap brake sets have terrible brake pads. They stop like wood. Not at all. So anyways, it came out to being 23.4 pounds, no, 6 pounds as it is. So that's, I mean, considering this is a pretty terrible fork, and so my other gripe, the brakes and the fork are not great and don't give you a very good quality of ride, but it's super easy to fix. There's a good chance if you have one that's been used, this one has been ridden maybe once by the owner. I talked to the original owner that bought it, whom I bought it from. They never got anything done to it. If you took this to a bike shop, they would fix it all for you immediately. So hopefully yours already has some of these mods done to it. But I'm going to show you what I like to do to a bike like this. Try to get the weight down a little bit, but more importantly, get a better quality of ride. And first thing I'm going to start out with is the seat post and the seat. I was able to luckily find a really nice Celly Royale that actually like perfectly matches the paint scheme. It's kind of wild. I think this is like $10 online. A lot more better of a profile than this like cheap Chinese saddle that it came with. And we're gonna replace this super gigantic, like almost mountain bike like aluminum seat post with a real nice cheap carbon fiber one. Something I use on all of my bikes. Very good on a budget. Take away a lot of the harshness of the road from the fork if you don't get a chance to do what I'm gonna do in the future. But yeah, it does, if you have like bad roads like I do, you're gonna feel it. So this is the first step to eliminate that, and you can see this actually has a lot more padding than this does as well. And if you had a good eye, you can see this peeking around in the corner. You could check out my felt video I did. This is off of a felt custom 2008 I did that I ended up putting all Dura Ace on and a nicer carbon fork. This one's still a very nice one. Those frames come out to be super lightweight if I left it on there. I just happen to have one from another upgrade I did. So kind of nice thing if you do have a bike like this, little advice to you, go to your local bike shop, try to make a relationship. And I mean, this is literally parts bin bike. Like this is no other word for it. It's just junk I have sitting around that's really not any good for any bike. And I paid $80 for this. So, I mean, this is the bike it's for. It's going to be like the bike that is going to see a lot of road miles and a lot of hard duty, something that I could put some weight on the back, carry groceries, what have you, you know. But to eliminate all of that harshness I was complaining about earlier, we're gonna get rid of this fork, and that's gonna drop a fair amount of weight too, but more importantly, it's gonna feel more comfortable on the bike. Now we can't be putting miles on the bike and all of that without some good old toe straps and cages. So luckily this bike already comes with some pretty nice Welgo ones. Like lesser bikes will come with just plastic pedals that don't even have the ability, but these metal cages have the ability that you could bolt these right in, and then you run the strap through this slit and all the way around, and I'll be doing that. Gives you the ability to like simulate clip-in pedals with the ability to keep your normal tennis shoes on. Now speaking of parts bin, here's some pretty old campy swag right here. We got some Campagnolo Velis brakes. These are like lower tier Campagnolo stuff if we're talking high-end road stuff that they have, but it's still a lot better than these just no-name generic brakes on this bike. For sure, it has better brake pads. The main reason I have these sitting around and I haven't used them on anything is because they're older, you know, they really need to be for something like this. But the nice thing is they do have nice, way bigger. These pads have such a small surface area, and these are actually Dura Ace compound pads, vintage ones obviously. Now they have like an insert they could slide them in and out of, just exchange the cartridge. So we might be putting these on, I might be swapping the pads, I'm not sure. I'll probably pop the brakes off and we'll go and see what it looks like weight wise, and if the campies are lighter I'll put them on, if not I'll probably just swap the brake pads over. And so for the rest of just little bits, we're going to put 2 water bottle cages on here. I got some nice matching skewers from another wheel set, a Sabella video I'm about to be doing. Keep in mind, subscribe if you haven't already. But these are cool, they match the bike, and they're a lot nicer than the junk ones that go on there. I've ridden a bike with those and they've broken. So if you're a heavier rider like me, make sure you have some nice clothes. Quick release skewers. Make sure you have some nice quick release skewers. And lastly, a nice stem. This is a Uno 7. Make sure you get the one that actually has the 7 on it. There's 2 different types. One is, it's not that much difference. One's like 127 grams. This one's like 103 grams. Granted, it is 80 millimeters. It's shorter because it's a smaller bike, but 100 is still probably going to be like 117 grams. So it saves you a little bit if you get the one that has the 7 imprinted. It's going to be silver on one side, red on the other. These are about 25 bucks on eBay. And you can get a nice upward angle if you like it too. You know, if you're going to get a commuter. This one has it like turned down. A lot of people like that if you're going to be more in like a race fit or you want to be more aero. Preferably, you know, commuter bike, you're going to be hauling weight. I like to have it upright. So now that we've basically done a review on it and all the upgrades, my first step is going to be, I'm going to cut all of these cables off, and I think I'm actually going to salvage them. This is, everything's so new on the bike that there's really no wear to the cables, and all of this crazy bends, I'm going to actually cut out several inches of each. So I'll have to remove the cables on each derailleurs and on the brakes, pull it all out, trim the cables, trim the housings, and run it back in. The good news is the exposed cables will be so far into the housings, they're going to be like new. So that's the point of me just recycling this. And keep an eye, because yeah, you're going to see it's going to have terrible shifting, like the rear cable here, that's way too much bend. That's why the brakes aren't stopping well also. That's why like I said, I'll have pictures. The barrels are up super high on the front and the back. The barrels, trying to shift it, yeah, you try to take some off, put it back on tension wise, and it's still like all over the place. So we're not going to mess with all that. We're going to just set it all over from the beginning. And once you do cut all the cables out and all the housings, make sure always check your low and high limit screws on the front and rear derailleurs.